5 moves you need to make to survive the apocalypse, which might be coming. Societal collapse we might see in our lifetime, we might not. So if you're into doomsday prepping, you want to be prepared in the case that it happens, but also so you can be more relaxed. You don't need to be stressed out at the end of the world because you got a plan. Then welcome in, fam. Much love. Trav here. How is the end going to come? Well, I mean, it could happen in many ways. You see, with a pandemic, it could be a deadlier pandemic. It could be government collapse. It could definitely be financial collapse. It could be related to environmental supply chain breakdown, food systems collapse. It could be total anarchy, social unrest. It could be a lot of things. So to protect ourselves, you need multiple layers of security. Belts, suspenders, and underpants. Your belts come off, you got your suspender. Belts and suspenders come off, you still got your underpants, right? Still got my pants on. That's how you should be thinking. And again, this isn't just like doomsday, doom and gloom. This is, how do I protect myself? How do I protect my family? And you have an emotional fortress around yourself where you're ready for anything. So the first thing that I recommend, moves to make to survive the apocalypse, is my favorite one. Be sober. Get sober. It's not the strongest or fastest who survive. It's the most adaptable. You're going to have to make quick decisions. You want a sober mind to make those decisions. You're going to have big decisions. You need to be on top of your game. You need clarity. You need to be able to process your emotions and feel the negatives and feel the pain and make the appropriate decision based on that. Warren Buffett says, if you buy things you don't need, you're going to have to sell things you do need. You don't need to spend money. It's just going to slow you down. Like there's real things that happen, like civilization collapse or country collapse happened in my dad's lifetime. They were in China, and when the communists stormed Shanghai, and they had to take whatever they could take and leave. And you can't take everything with you, right? So this is real stuff that can happen. It's gonna help to be sober. This is a lot of my message to this channel, but that's survive the apocalypse. And you want help with that one, I have a free program. There's a link to that below, okay? Not everyone likes to hear this, but come on, obviously. Who do you want to follow? Who do you want? Would you want your leader to be a drunk or a stoner, right? Or your partner or your teammates during the apocalypse? Like, no, it's going to be a dark time, but you want people who they're in the war room strategically thinking, figure out the game plan, right? Sober minds will prevail. Get it through your head. Number 2, build an online business. You should do this now, especially if you're in the city. Now, to the degree of society collapsing, it could be that internet collapses. So we're going to talk about hedging, right? These are the belts. We're going to get to the suspenders. We're going to get to the underpants. But there's 2 really important things about building an online business. The first one is having freedom of location. You might need to get out of the city, or you might be in the country, but you need to move. It could be you're on the water line, but the water level's rising and you need to go. So it could be it gets too hot where you might need to move. You want to have geographic, in a world where there is geographic unrest, massive immigration, like we've seen in the Middle East, Syria, people moving to where it's hospitable and habitable, and there aren't these droughts and food shortage problems, right? You might need to move, and if you have an online business, it's going to allow you to move. Now, the second reason that you want to build an online business is so that you know how to build a business, because there's a good chance if you have an online business and might collapse, you need to be able to build from scratch. You need to be able to know that, like, hey, I'll lose my job, hey, I'll lose my business. I've done it before, I can do it again. COVID-19 is a test run for all this stuff. It could get way more serious. So you want to build an online biz, now's a good time to do it. You're going to get paid for it. And most importantly, you ever see a bird on a branch or on a wire line way up there? And they're not scared even if the wire gets cut, the branch breaks. Why? Because they have wings, they can fly. So these are your wings too, not just your suspenders, but these are your wings. You can fly. You fly away. Okay? Now the third thing is, the third move to survive the apocalypse is grow food. If you can have a little plot of land somewhere and grow food, that's great. If you're in the city though, just having the skills is going to help you. Because again, if you need to flee, you need to flight, get to the countryside. I mean, the full one of this is get land. It's like be on land, or be on land where you're secure. Have land access. You can own the land, you can access the land, but also being able to grow food. You don't even necessarily need land because you can grow plenty of food in raised garden beds. You can grow potatoes in sacks. You can grow pots on your veranda. So, but growing food, because having, be sober so you can make good decisions. Build an online business so that you're geographically mobile and so that you can create an income when you need to. But maybe the internet goes down. Maybe there's lag time between creating a new business. Growing food. If there's no commerce, there's total collapse of the financial economic system. There's total collapse of the food supply system. This could happen. Be able to grow food. So it could happen that all the honeybees die, or there's massive crazy weather patterns. The food doesn't get grown. Or it could be that the food gets grown, but there's supply chain breakdowns, there's energy problems, the closed cooling chain that transports the cooled food doesn't make it to where you are. It could be a local problem. It could be a big worldwide problem. It could be locusts coming in, or the biblical plagues coming in, right? It could be, but if you can grow food, that's great. Again, though, you might need to move. So you have land, that's good, but you still might need to move. You want to be building skills, right? You want to be doing this now. Again, it's fun. It makes for a good life, and it's not just to prepare for the doomsday, but also to feel good about yourself and have low stress because you've got fortresses around your protection. Okay. The fourth thing I'm going to suggest you do is to buy and hold Bitcoin. This is something I've been talking about. It's not the most important thing. It's not number one. It's not number two. It's not number three, but it's on my list. You want to be able to make money even if you can have to move. You want to be able to grow food, but you also want to be able to store your money somehow. So very common country collapse. So a society, this could happen everywhere. This could be a societal collapse, is a destruction, debasement of the money supply by overprinting. And this happens all the time. It's happened in so many countries, even in the modern world. I was talking about my dad and his grandparents had to get out of China during that time. There was massive debasement, hyperinflation in the country, and you hear stories about when you go out to dinner, you have to take stacks of money, suitcases full of money to pay for the bill because the government just keeps printing more and more money. You think this couldn't happen to the US dollar, but the Fed just said, hey, we're going to go past 2%. We're going to be okay with 4%, 5%. We owe so many 200 trillion dollars in debt. We're going to just pay it off by printing more money. It could happen. And Bitcoin's a way to be secure. So I make it a goal to have at least one Bitcoin. It's not like getting rich idea here, but protect yourself from the apocalypse. And these are all things that I've done. Got sober, okay. Build an online business. I've built several now. I've learned to grow my own food. Hold a Bitcoin, okay. The last one is protecting yourself. And this means many things. So it could mean arming yourself with guns. That's probably wise, actually. And that isn't something I've done, but protecting yourself could mean other things. And that's a step that I may take in the future. Another step is living in a community of people so that you can, it's not just you, it gives you more safety. So that is something that I've done. It also means you can do certain security to hold your own Bitcoin and build a fence around your food, build a fortress around your lifestyle, and so on. So, and protecting yourself is not number one, it's number five, because it's like we feel pretty safe here, but if I look across the street, there's Lululay military complex, 250 acres. We don't even know what's going on over there. We could have the papers, we own the land, we're all armed. Shit hits the fan, everything's collapsing, everything's going down. The military could just walk over the street and say, hey, your land is ours now. And you can work with us or you can flee. And if you flee, you want to have a sober mind. You want to be able to build a new source of income and save it. You want to be able to just set up shop and grow food somewhere and do your best to protect yourself. But you think about protecting yourself is it's not useful if you don't have these. I mean, I guess you could arm yourself and go seize but things, like go to war as a conqueror, but probably that's not my recommended first option for you. That's a good way to suffer mass casualties personally, which I mean that could happen, but if you do these things, you may be able to avoid the war and the death, and to not just survive personally but pass on your lineage. And again, have a good time, because it's a scary world out there. So if you want help with the getting sober, I've got a free program for that down below. If you want help building an online business, I help with that too. I grow food, I don't help with that. I do this, I don't help with that. I don't help with this, but these two I have programs for. So there's links down below to that if you want help. Appreciate you, much love. And if you were out to add a sixth thing to this, comment down below. By the way, hit a thumbs up if you like these longer content, the whiteboard. Please comment to let me know. But if you had to add a sixth thing to survive the apocalypse, what would it be? What am I missing? I want to know how I'm wrong. I want to know what I'm missing so that I can secure myself. Okay? So thank you, appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.